Hi everybody, it's Kathy here, and I am finally getting another Keeping It Simple Sometimes scrapbook page done. So it is Thursday, this is a Keeping It Simple, and remember this one we made, I did it a couple of weeks ago. I will put the link above here for you to go and have a look and see what I did to pull these pieces together to create it. Now when I first created it, I left these as flaps because I thought I would be tucking things in underneath, and so I'm just going to put down the ones that I'm not going to tuck under. And I have this photo here of myself with my daughters. This was my youngest doing the start of our family thing where she takes the selfies. It's not the most clearest photo, but it is the start and I like it anyway. It's indicative of the fun that I have with my girls, and this was when she was about 12. So we have been doing lots of things together all the time, the three of the girls and I. Our most recent was to see Snow White on the girls' night, and I'll have those photos coming in layouts in the weeks to come. But I am just pulling together some pieces here. I've gone with the grungy style. I kept with the idea that it is a bit grungy, which is great because this is a photo of us outside of a car wrecker's yard where they had all of the street painters decorate it with their spray paints. So I thought it tied nicely in with the feel of this layout. So I'm adding in here some door paper, which is like industrial doors, and I've got some rusted corrugated going down, and now I'm just putting in like a paper that's like a metal plate that you stand on. So I'm keeping that industrial feel with the rest of this layout. So I'm just going to add in some banners hanging down from underneath the photo, and that's an easy way of adding more detail but keeping it very simple. And then I really do like that it is the metal plating that goes here. I have this other one which is a piece of wood grain, and as I said, this rusted piece, or it appears rusted corrugated iron down there. So I'm just going to go off screen and put all that together now and piece it all down and make sure that it's all flat so that we can continue on. So I have also then taken a piece of that blue from behind, the blue wood grain, which I'm going to use and tie down here into the bottom. I've got the second piece of that metal plate type paper, which I'm putting in there, and then I have another strip of this rusted corrugated, and I'm adding that as an arrow point across, so I've got a cluster point at the bottom of the layout. I have this strip here, which is a branding strip or a zip strip, whichever you call it, and it says, "The day spent with you, day spent with you is my favourite kind of day," and then underneath it says, "So today is my favourite day." And that's with my girls. We have a lot of fun when we're hanging out together. And I'm just going to add in some faux stitching, like a zigzag stitch here, to tie together that piece of paper like it's been torn out and reattached. Just going to carry the stitching across to the edges, and I'm then going to build 3 cluster points with butterflies, and these were left over from Vicky Burton paper. I'll just fussy cut them out, and that's an easy way to build up a cluster on your page. And then I'm putting in behind those, I've got the camera on this one now because it was a selfie. And before I put those flowers in, I'm going to go through this little box that I keep with all my excess die cuts, like when I'm cutting dies, and sometimes I overcut and I don't use them on a layout, so I just shove them into this box. And so I'm going through that box right now, and I have found some arrows that I'm going to use now. I found a bit of chain that I'm going to tie across the top there, and I have these cogs which I'm going to put in behind the clusters, and that's just going to tie up that whole theme of a grungy car yard feel to scrap metal, that sort of thing. Pull that whole layout in together. So I'm just going to, I also found this decorative corner which I'm going to add to the top of that photo, like the wrought iron corners, and it just all ties nicely together. and you can see that the colours in my photos are reflected through the colours on this paper. And honestly, this photo is really old. I have a whole series of these photos. I did do some at the time that I took them, but I have still a pile sitting in the to-do list. And my goal this year is to work through my pile of to-do sitting on my desk, which has got about 60 photos, and I am just going to do them because they are older photos that I had pulled to do and never got around to. And so now I'm going to make a concerted effort to get that done. So I'm just building up these layering pieces here. As I said, we're keeping it simple. All we're doing is just adding bits. I haven't actually had to do very much to make this layout come together. I'm putting in some buttons. Everybody's got buttons lying around. I've just gone through my buttons and collected a few that are the colours of the layout, just so that they are complementary to each other. Sorry about my head there. I was just checking where that was sitting on the layout, whether it looked all right or not. I'm just going to pop this down with a bit of the Nouveau glue. That would hold them in place. And then I have my 3 clusters established, and with a little bit different to things that I normally put onto the layout. Now, I was contemplating doing the flowers down around the bricks, but then I thought, no, I'll tuck them into these cluster points. These are vellum flowers, which is great because they are see-through, so they're not overpowering for the layout. They blend in with the layout because of the colours, and the colours are reflective of those in the papers and the photos, which is really good, and that's why they sit in nicely and just blend without overpowering the layout. So I'm just going to tuck those down, and they are vellum, which is a bit tricky to work with, and that's why I'm only putting in a tiny little dab of glue behind them, so that when they dry it's still clear, and that one just doesn't want to be part of that cluster. This one down here, I'm just tucking in behind that butterfly, and one up there over the chain. So now I have 5 points of the flowers, but it's looking balanced for those 3 clusters. Now I am going to just put in some ink splatters just to finish it off. I'm using the Dina Wakley White Opaque. I love it. It is very thick. As you can see, I'm not very good at splattering. Just going to put in a few bit of black splatters just to top off there, and that will basically be the end of this layer. So some simple mixed media. If you don't have inks to do it, you can use your stamp pad with water added to it. You can use watercolors. It still does the same effect. And there you can see is my layout. I'm very happy with how this has come together. Very simple, just excess dies that are lying around. I didn't go to any effort to cut any extra ones. I found some fussy cut butterflies and the camera left over, and it all comes together to get on this one layout. And there you go. You can make that as easy as. And remember, I have got the link in for the preparation of this base, and we're now going to move into the preparation of the next base. One more close-up. I am pleased with how this has come up. I hope that you like it as well and give it a thumbs up. Now I have a wood grain piece of paper because that's going to be my base that I'm starting with. I have this gingham paper and a couple of strips. So I'm going to tear out 2 pieces from the top and the bottom of this gingham paper. I really do like it. I call it gingham, could be plaid, whichever way you'd like it to be. I love the colours. The colours are complementary for the base, and that's important. Then I'm going to take the pieces that I tore out, and I'm going to put those over to the sides so they look like peekaboo pieces on this layout. I'm then going to tear down the sides here because I don't want it to be so straight, and I don't want it to be so clean line cut. I want it to be a bit jagged like the wood feel that it is. And I'm going to then start building these pieces into the layout. Now when you're tearing, you can either take one giant piece and tear it off, which is easy to do if you have the full 12 by 12 to work with. But because I did have only the smaller piece, I want to make sure that I'm not tearing off massive amounts because I really want that plaid to be a major part of that layout. I'm just going to lay it into place. I do like the wood underneath it, and you'll see me in a moment cut a piece out of that because I want to use it to mount a photo on this layout. So I'm just going to prep that in ready for, I don't know what photo. I have no idea how that's going to come together, but I just feel that I want to bring some of that wood to the front because of the peekaboo, but also because it is so beautiful and I just want it to be a part of the layout. So I'm going to take that piece aside and put that down, and then my plaid will go over the top, or the gingham will go over the top, and you won't see that. It will still be a full piece underneath, which is helpful, and the tape is being a little bit not helpful. So there you go. So that's top and bottom in there, down the center horizontal. I like the torn feature to it. I'm adding in this extra piece here, which is always good to add that little bit of extra detail. As you can see, these are just leftover pieces, nothing extra, and this is how quick and easy it is to make a base that is going to look a little bit different or a little bit more effective when you put together a layout. I'm going to just tuck that one there, bring down, leave a little bit to the base and the top. And then I need to put a little bit of glue there because that one's sticking up just a bit. And I love the colours here. I do have the wood, like I said, I cut it out. It is perfectly 6 1/4 by a little bit more than 4 1/4, so I'm just going to trim it down to 4 1/4 because I'm assuming that I'll use a 6 by 4, but that's all right, and that's where that sits. And then I have the other side that I can incorporate. I've got these other strips that I can put into the layout when I'm ready with the layout, so I'm just going to put those all together. Put those to the side, and we'll be back in another week to see how that all comes together. But here's some close-ups of the layouts that we did today. You can see how easy a few little die cuts and a few little extra bits and pieces put together can make a very simple layout from a base that you've already got sitting there ready to go. So have a go at making pre-made bases. They are helpful. They do make your scrapping go a lot faster, and I do appreciate you stopping by today to watch. Happy scrapping, everybody. Thanks for watching. Here's my next video for you, and I'll see you in the next one.